Good afternoon from the Universal Orlando parking garage. We are headed in today because there's a lot of new Halloween Horror Nights props that we haven't seen yet. There's also an entirely new store that opened up over in Islands of Adventure. So we've gotten all of the announcements for Halloween Horror Nights. This video, we're not going to go over all of the announcements and go over all of the different houses and everything like that. We'll do a different video for that, kind of showing you everything you need to know about Halloween Horror Nights and like where things are and stuff like that at a later date. Today, we're just gonna be checking out new props. You will get a little bit of information out of this as far as like what the names of the new scare zones are and stuff like that, but let's head inside and have a look around. Heading into City Walk, and it doesn't look like it's too incredibly busy today. We'll see. You never know, once we get into the parks, it might be slammed. I think we're gonna head over to Universal first, and then we'll head into Islands of Adventure a little bit later today. As we are making our way up to the arches, wanted to point out that there are lights out here, and we are assuming that those are going to be for Halloween Horror Nights because that's the next event that's coming up. What's happening? Ooh, a helicopter. And we still need to keep an eye out on the arches here because I feel like the medallion and the various other theming that they're going to put up on the other arches will be showing up pretty soon. So I wanted to head into this scare zone first, and this scare zone we know the name of now. It is 30 Years, 30 Fears. It's described as the monsters you've most dreaded from past Halloween Horror Nights have taken over the streets. They're back in your history. So, like we've said before, this will feature different icons from years past, like Caretaker, Fear. Jack the Clown will be featured prominently as he is a fan favorite and he has been the icon at many Halloween Horror Nights events. Since the last time we were here, we've added some theming here, like by whatever this is. It's like a, I don't know what you would call this. It's just like a spooky, what is this? It's like a covering of some sort, but I don't know what exactly you would call it. Like, looks like roots or intertwined vines. But you know, it's just like a texture you see a lot in scary movies. So these X's up here are interesting because Fear, who is just over here to the left of Jack, was the icon for Halloween Horror Nights 20, which as you all know in Roman numerals is XX. So I'm assuming Fear will be up on these stages. But there's also an XX over here too. And then we've seen these stages and stuff like that before. So the whole reason that I came back to this scare zone first was because I wanted to show you all Eddie. So this is Eddie. He is Jack's brother, and he has his own scare zone this year. And it is important to know that Eddie is overly obsessed with 80s slasher horror films, particularly ones featuring chainsaw-wielding maniacs such as Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So that's a good thing to know because there is a scare zone based around Eddie, and we'll go over to that right now. So we're kind of back up at the front of the park. The entrance is right over there. Today Cafe is right this way, and we are headed towards the Hollywood section of the park because there is a scare zone back there based around Eddie. The whole reason that I brought up that Eddie loves 80s slasher films is because this scare zone is called Lights, Cameras, Haction, Eddie's Revenge. Get ready for the feel-bad movie of the year. Eddie Schmidt, Jack the Clown's brother, is filming a horror film and the monsters are real. I think my favorite bit about this is that they're using things from previous Halloween Horror Nights, like Invasion over here. This was a scare zone a couple of years ago, so I think it's safe to assume that we will see the return of some of the scare zone costumes and characters from years past in this particular scare zone. Also, we got some more up-high stages over here, like scaffolding stages where I think scare actors will be up there, or maybe there'll be cameramen up there. You never know. Hi, Marilyn. Are you having a good day? Oh yeah, it is. It's a little hot today, but maybe it'll cool off. Oh, it's true. I like that. It's a good pun. Well, it was great to see you. Thank you. Oh, hi. Another stage right across from Maryland there is Treeks and Foons, which was actually over in Islands of Adventure when Halloween Horror Nights was between the two parks. And it was like a gigantic bubble party. You can see they featured bubbles in the background over here. It's gonna be interesting to see if they actually bring back the bubble machines for this particular stage. I know that bubble machines can be fun, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. So Treeks and Foons are the characters in the scare zone. So there are Treeks, which are females, and Foons, which are males. And they play pranks on guests by holding certain props like whoopee cushions or water-spitting flowers. I don't know. It seems like it's going to be fun. Vamp 55 was another scare zone that happened a few years ago. And I'm assuming it was basically like vampires in the 50s. So I think that this will be a 50s kind of greaser vampire feel. right here. And Eddie will be making a slasher film about it. Some more scaffolding over here. And then one more stage towards the end of the scare zone. And the last little stage, I can't quite place where this location is. We got a gate that says HHN on the top. Kind of looks like a mausoleum. Maybe Graveyard Games? No, because Graveyard Games would have had like spray paint all over it. I don't know. I'm going to keep an eye on this. If you know what this is, leave me a comment down below because I would like to know. Before we leave the Hollywood section, I need to head into the Five and Dime. See if there's any more or new Halloween Horror Nights merch that we haven't seen before. I also wanted to point out that this portrait is still available for purchase to be in the tribute store this year. I can't wait to see what they do with ours. So it looks like we just have some Texas Chainsaw Massacre shirts here. Everything else we've seen before. The only thing that's new right now is this Leatherface shirt. Let's see what it says on the back. Nothing. But it does say Texas Chainsaw Massacre on the sleeve. And this is $30. Looks like the Maryland stage show is getting ready to start. So there is another scare zone over here, but we're going to come back to that once this show is done. So we're going to head in this direction towards New York. So we're back over here at Plaza of the Stars near 30 Years, 30 Fears, the scare zone. And now we are turning past Rip Ride Rocket and headed towards New York, headed toward Race Through New York with starring Jimmy Fallon. We did a really fun tour of that not too long ago. I'll put a link to that in the description down below. Also wanted to point out that Music Plaza is barren right now. No tables, no chairs, no food booths, no staging on the actual stage itself. Nothing happening over here. As we turn into the New York section of the park, first thing that we see is the facade of the Halloween Horror Nights tribute store is complete. Wow, that is impressive. It's kind of like a Victorian style home facade. Gives me like some Psycho House vibes too. Like the Psycho House has this same 3-window setup at the top. Doesn't have this round section or this stained glass area over here, but it definitely has this roof line and this little 3-pack of windows over top of the front door. Wow, this is so impressive looking. I'm so excited to go into the tribute store just based on the outside of it. If you guys don't know what a tribute store is, for each event, Universal has been making stores that are heavily themed to the event. We've gone to ones for Mardi Gras. We went to one that was themed to Jurassic World. We'll put some links in the description down below to other tribute stores that we've been into, so you can kind of get the idea of what this tribute store will be like. We even went to one last Halloween. So aside from the HHN tribute store, the streets of New York will be a scare zone called Seek and Destroy. And this is described as a ruthless alien cyber regime led by the Controller has taken over New York, turning humans into fuel. So I'm assuming that this eye is the Controller. Also, this stage over here has a large LED panel up on it, so I'm sure there will be projecting something up there. Maybe what's happening on the stage below, or maybe a message from the Controller. Now these huge vats of blood kind of make more sense as the alien cyber beings are using humans as fuel, probably draining them of blood in order to use it. So we've got these towers here, and it kind of seems like they have these little like almost like spotlights up there that will be pointed at something. Maybe they're picking out victims as they walk by. Kind of look like they might move. I don't know. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is just speculation, and we'll have to wait for the actual event to see what some of these props will be or do. This particular set piece has a TV on it, so I feel like we're definitely going to be getting some messages from the Controller broadcast across this TV and that LED screen on the stage back there. Other than that, I'm not seeing a whole lot more that's been added to this scare zone. It all seems to be about the same. We do, of course, have like mannequins underneath here that will act as dead bodies during the event, but they leave them covered up during the day. So we got a lot of pigeons around us here. I'm like the theme park pigeon king. Either that or somebody was feeding them over here. Oh, you guys got a pretzel. I see how it is. Theme park pigeon gang eating a pretzel. All right, we've made it through the New York section of the park. Now we're gonna head back over to Central Park, back over there where we saw Marilyn performing. then we'll talk about those scare zones over there. So one thing that we know is going to be happening is there will be a Lagoon show, like a Lagoon fountain show, called Marathon of Mayhem Carnage Factory. And it looks like they're setting up for the entrance sign for that Lagoon show. You can kind of see all of the different nozzles and stuff like that out here in the Lagoon for the Lagoon show, and their description of the Lagoon show says, "There's no manufacturing the screams as a terrifying Lagoon show comes to life at Universal Studios Lagoon." So I have a feeling this will be kind of like along the lines of like movie themes. They might have filmed some stuff for it that is themed around Halloween Horror Nights, but for the most part I'm sure that it's just like scary movies and stuff. Different properties that will be featured in Halloween Horror Nights I'm sure are going to play a huge role in this, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Haunting of Hill House. So this scare zone that we're heading into right now is in the Central Park area of the park, and this is called Gorewood Forest. 16 years after the gory sacrifices of Terra Cruentus, the Heartless Terror Queen is back. So this is one that I know very little about, so I had to kind of look this one up. So basically the Terror Queen ruled over Terra Cruentus, which is just a separate realm from Earth, and she used humans for blood sacrifices. You can see kind of like some blood accents on these poles going up here. There's also something attached to a wire that goes down inside of here. I don't know if we can see it or not. Maybe it'll be a scare actor that gets pulled up. You never know. Another thing that I thought was really interesting about the Terror Queen is she can't talk. She just uses hisses and growls. So she has an interpreter named Eelmouth that is always close by. So I just kind of peeked inside at this wire here, and it's just, there's a counterweight in there. It's just like a tub full of water down there. We've got some wood that's been screwed to the fence here, like sticks, and some camo netting and other various like natural materials. Got some more natural looking type huts where I'm sure there will be a scare actor that pops out from behind this cloth. It's covered with all this like weathered wood. So I just kind of wanted to read this part really quick about Gorewood Forest. So the name of this scare zone is Gorewood Forest. And it says, "For it is the human's lifeblood that nurtures the root system of the towering twisted Gorewood tree, a hideous hybrid of unnatural growth that resulted from a black oak sapling taking root in the crimson-soaked soil of an ancient battlefield where enzymes and human remains dissolved rare metals in the earth that were absorbed into the roots, veins, and brass-colored bark of the tree that grew very slowly and very strong." So that kind of gives you an idea of why this particular scare zone is called Gorewood Forest. They've also added these kind of like telephone poles in here. I wonder if these will be trees eventually. Just walking through, and I noticed I can see the Hogwarts Express pulling through backstage back there. Ah, yes, Duff Gardens. They have started serving Dufftoberfest, their seasonal Duff beer. Also, I just did a TikTok about the 7 Duffs. Check it out. TheTimTracker on TikTok. So we've made it back here by Men in Black. We're kind of turning towards the London waterfront. There's nothing in between Gorewood Forest and here that has to do with Halloween Horror Nights, but there is something just on the other side of this bridge near the London waterfront. So just before we get to the London waterfront, there's a good guy doll display over here. And I don't think that this is a particular scare zone. I think that this is just sort of like an advertisement for the show that's on USA and Sci-Fi. It's Chucky. Chucky is the good guy doll. So we have seen this before, and the way that it works is there is a life-size Chucky doll here that will like yell insults at you as you're walking by. We've seen this in previous scare zones, but like I said, I don't think this is an official scare zone. It's just kind of like an advertisement, and they're gonna have the Chucky doll here yelling out insults. Now that we've made it to the London waterfront, I want to head over in this direction towards the Fear Factor stage, because I believe that this is where another show at Halloween Horror Nights will be. Like I said, no confirmation on the actual location of this show, but we do know the name of it and a little bit about it. It is called Halloween Nightmare Fuel. It is a new show featuring fire, pyro, and aerial performers. So we've seen fire and pyro in this location before, and I feel like we've seen aerial performers. Other than that, the only reason that I'm thinking it's back here is because it kind of needs to be a lot of rigging for aerial performers, right? And this stage has been closed for a while, so they've had time to set that sort of stuff up, and I haven't seen anywhere else around the park where rigging has gone up for aerial performers. Still over here back behind Lombards, we do have some lighting towers No other information about this other than that there are lighting towers there. Like I said, I'm assuming there will be a bar or some sort of food offering here. Now we're headed into the San Francisco section of the park where the Crypt TV scare zone has officially been announced, and they have definitely added a lot more props to this scare zone. Of course, the symbol from Sunny Family Cult is on the outside of this particular prop piece. They've also added a lot more stuff to it. Ooh, we've got like a little wooden, I don't know what you call that, like a weaving little sculpture trinket up there on top of the countertop. Then of course, because there is a tarp here, it is covering a body or a mannequin. They've added some Christmas theming to this particular box, and we think that this will be a short called Milk and Cookies. Got a stocking over here, a Merry Christmas wreath, or Christmas garland. This same sort of wooden icon. I need to watch more Crypt TV to try to figure out more about this sort of stuff. And of course, now that it's been announced, all of the Crypt TV logos have been uncovered. Over here at the Missanity section, they've added some like cobweb type features here on the fencing. We've got some bodies hanging up behind the tarps there. And some people were mentioning that this thing only has 6 legs. I have a feeling that there will be a actor attached to the front of it that will have the other 2 legs of the spider. So I'm really interested to find out more about this particular series. It's either the Girl in the Woods or the Door in the Woods. They've added some more vines and some more chains, but they've also added some scare actor activated triggers back here. So there should be a scare actor standing right here, unless you're gonna put it inside of this. Like I said last time, I believe that there should be scare actors inside of the plexiglass too, but there are a couple of triggers out here that would set off an effect, but they're probably from a scare actor standing here. Also on the back side of this door is that same sort of symbol that we were seeing, the little trinkets that were made out of sticks in the shape of over on the other props. And then the last little box that we can see here, kind of decorated with field hockey stuff. And then we've got a display case here for Shelly Carter, Player of the Year 1997-98. She's quite the athlete. Field hockey, archery, tennis, swimming. There she is playing field hockey for Avon Manor. We've got a bathroom scene in here, and you can see somebody standing at the mirror. You can definitely tell that this is a mannequin. And then if we look in the mirror, we can see that phrase from the look-see: if you yourself cannot release, then it will come to take a piece. So this is the phrase that everybody sees before the look-see attacks them. And because this shower curtain is here, I'm assuming that there will be a scare actor behind the shower curtain that might jump out at you as you're walking past. There's some like beads here. I wonder if that's from somebody else putting them there, or if that has something to do with this particular scene. All right, so we are all done in Universal Studios. We got one more thing to see, and that's over in Islands of Adventure. So that's where we're walking to right now. All right, here we are over at Islands of Adventure. Let's head inside and find the Halloween store. It's not a Halloween Horror Night store. It's just a Halloween themed store. Ooh, there's some characters. Hello. Oh, okay. I am ready for adventure.
Yay! Where are we headed?
I'm headed to the Lost Continent.
Oh.
I'm hoping. So it's not lost. You know exactly where it is.
Well, because I found it as an explorer, it was lost, but then I found it.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Okay, that's where I'm headed. It was great to see you guys. Thank you so much. Over here in Seuss Landing, walking up to the Caro's Seussel, and right now it is closed for refurbishment. You can see they've got some scaffolding up around it, getting ready to do some repainting and making it look real nice. Just on the other side of Seuss Landing is an area of the park called the Lost Continent, and that is where this new Halloween store has opened up. Over here across from Mythos was an attraction called Poseidon's Fury, and it has since gone behind walls. So we believe that they are going to be doing something new in this area. We've heard lots of rumors that I'm not going to repeat because I don't want anybody to get too excited, but it's looking good. I think it'll be a very fun addition to this area of the park. Here we go, we are walking through the Lost Continent, and just before we get to Hogsmeade, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, there it is straight ahead of us. All Hallows Eve Boutique. Over here by the Talking Fountain is where it's at. All Hallows Eve Boutique. I love the decorations here. Oh yeah. Wow, this is great. So I did say it was a Halloween themed shop, but they are just selling Halloween Horror Nights merchandise. Ooh, I love this. It's like a jean jacket. It says Universal Studios on it. On the front, Halloween Horror Nights. Not a lot of them left. Let's see. $80. This is very heavy. I love all these like vintage Halloween props up here.
Usually it goes on the other side, but decided to make like a pop-up shop over here. So way too nice.
And then all of the pumpkins up top, as well as this guy. This guy was from the Scarecrow Stroll last year, which is one of the events that they had, or one of the offerings that they had for Halloween, even though they didn't have a true Halloween Horror Nights last year. I wanted to try to show off the lanyards for this year. 30 years, 30 fears, and it's got all the different icons on it. Two different sides. You see we got Fear down here. We've got the Caretaker, the Usher, this is Eddie over here. For $30, we have this 30 Years, 30 Fears shirt with Jack and Chance on it. It's kind of cool looking. On the front, 30 Years, 30 Fears. I like that it's $30. Like keeping the theme all the way across, even into the pricing. Now we're sort of getting into just like generic Halloween stuff. Summon the Spirits, Witch's Brew. Oh, it's like a planchette from Ouija board, but it's like a jewelry box. Some like creepy art here. This is so adorable. We got Sam, Leatherface, Krampus, Death, Jason, and Chucky. Adding a little bit deeper in here. More and more Halloween theming. Oh my goodness, so many pumpkins, I love it. Of course, there is also a hearse right here in the middle of the store. Like a horse-drawn hearse. Hardest thing I've ever had to say.
Pumpkin pie.
Also, I should mention that this store smells like roasted apples because they're making candles back here. So right here, they're literally pouring candles and they're solidifying right here. You can see her back there making them. And then you can buy the candles right next to them. So like this one is called Fall Hallows Eve. Let's see if I can read what it says. The other one is called Dark Cider Spells. That's probably the one that we're smelling right now because it smells like apple cider. I'll be honest, this one kind of smells like a mix between a Cracker Barrel and like a Michael's Craft Store. I kind of love it. There's kind of like a poem on the back wall here. It says, by pumpkins fat and witches lean, by coal black cats, witches eyes of green, by all the magic ever seen, I wish you luck this Halloween. I really like some of the merch in here. It's so silly. Like this is like a hearse pillow, like bones in a coffin on a towel. Here's a better look at some of these candles. So this one was all Fall Hallows Eve. That's the one that I said kind of smelled like Cracker Barrel and Michael's mixed together. And then this one is the one that I can smell most right now is Dark Cider Spells. Smells like apple cider, like you're like brewing apple cider in your house. Found out that each of these figurines are $26 a piece, and you do get an annual pass discount on them. Here's some like pins. I like how this spooky figure is laying seductively. We have some hand-painted skulls back here. These are way cool. Oh, this one's only $40 for the Ouija board one back there. And these larger ones are $125. So you can buy a crystal ball. How cool is that? Because they've got multiple ones of them. They also have some coffee back here. These are local companies too. So like Coffee Shop of Horrors is a Florida-based company. This hot sauce that's also for sale back here is from the original Sauce Man, I think is what it was called. Yeah, which is made in Orlando. So that's nice to see them supporting local businesses. Yeah, this is Burial Grounds, Zombie Dirt, and then Shrieking Toad Just wanted to point out some prices. The hot sauces are between $14 and $16 a piece, and the coffees are $20 for 8 ounces of whole bean coffee. So it should be noted that it is whole bean coffee. And then I wanted to say that each of the candles are $20 a piece. All right, back out to the park. Wanted to stop off and see what the wait time was for VelociCoaster, but I don't know if it's running right now. I'm not seeing anything going right now. Oh, there it goes. Something that we haven't seen up close yet is this cage that goes over top of this walkway, because the VelociCoaster goes over top of the walkway. So this is to protect guests walking underneath. Only a 35-minute wait, so I might pop into single rider. I don't think it'll be very long at all. I'll let you know once we get off because I can't keep the camera with me. So right now, it's 3:02 and we are heading into the single rider line. Oh, it stopped way back here. Well, we're moving pretty good. The lockers are right here, so I have a feeling that's what we're waiting on, is getting our stuff in the locker. So, we'll see what happens. See how long it takes. I feel like we're moving pretty quick. Like even the regular line is moving very fast. So with VelociCoaster single rider, the regular line was at 35 minutes. I got in line single rider at 3:02, got on the ride at 3:14, off the ride at 3:17. So very fast. I waited 12 minutes. It was good. I liked it a lot. Like, it is still one of the best rides. Did feel a little bit more shaky now that it's been running for a little bit, but still a fantastic ride. I was in the middle. Would have liked to have been at the front of the end, but because I did single rider, I didn't get to pick which row I was in or ask for any specific row. They just put me wherever. I was in row 5. I can hear it coming. Such a great spot to sit and watch it go by, because it goes by twice. Just walked out across the bridge and see Julian, King Julian, out here dancing. Oh, it looks like they're getting ready to head backstage right now. Bye, everybody. So there you have it. That was our trip out to Universal Studios Florida and then Islands of Adventure to check out Halloween stuff. All of Universal is starting to fill up more and more with Halloween Horror Nights stuff, and it is so darn exciting. I cannot wait. We are very close, less than a month away from the start of Halloween Horror Nights, and it's getting spooky over there. I am most excited for, as far as scare zones go, I think I'm most excited for Crypt TV because we kind of watched some of them. I'm a little bit excited for the Eddie zone too. I need to see more props and more of what's going into it to get really excited for it. And then I think for the house, I'm most excited for Legendary Truth. I know we didn't talk about houses on this trip, and we will in a future video. Like I said, we're gonna come back and do an entire video on everything that's coming to Halloween Horror Nights and like what you need to know before you go. Before the event, like within a couple of weeks from now, we'll be doing one of those videos. I don't know, I'm so excited. So excited for Halloween and so excited for Halloween Horror Nights because as you guys know, Halloween is starting now. So all in all, a fantastic day, and with that being said, we are off. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Hi, we're the Lawsons from Lunenburg, Vermont.
Now it's time to pay the price.